Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest with fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. What a day yesterday. Been kind of talking Friday about how we were going to see this resurgence in tech. It did not happen Friday. It waited until Monday, but certainly a crazy move, crazy good, right? Move up almost 4%. It was over 4% for a while there in the NASDAQ. So kind of the move we've been looking for to now reset that floor. Again, I'm not sure tech will scream higher. The futures are up from here, and there may be a lot of momentum going higher here. But as far as I do think it sets a floor where, if anything, the worst case, I think tech bounces around maybe where it is right now before it can move higher. Some big names are out saying value is going to be where it's at for the next 6, 12, 18 months. Jeremy Siegel, if you follow him, obviously brilliant individual professor and market strategist. He's saying value is the way to go. I still don't think so. I think tech will resurge and take the day, again, fairly quickly, because that's just kind of the world we live in. But today, skipping yesterday's big move up, which is one of the biggest moves I have seen. Today, it's Roblox day, right? RBLX is the ticker. Have it up on a screen. You saw on the, if you were online before we all hopped on, you can see that I have it there. It's a blank screen. So if you put this up, put in ticker RBLX into your platform, the ticker is acknowledged. You can put your orders in. We'll talk about how to do that today. I will tell you exactly what I'm doing for my strategy and the opening price. And then we will go in and follow that. I do not expect it to open while we're in the show. I expect it to open around noon Eastern. There's so much hype following this thing. And as far as I know, it's the only direct listing today. So therefore, they'll probably milk the hype on into the early afternoon. That would be how I would play it if I was running the PR campaign for Roblox. But we will see. It's certainly up to them, and it could pop live at any point in time. We'll have it on the screen while we're here in the room, just in case it does. All right, with that, thanks for joining us this morning. If you want to join us live, I guess $25 a month. You can be here in the room. You can see the chat window and the Q&A as well. And if you want to check us out on replay, thanks for subscribing and hitting the notifications bell. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back. Here's the lineup card for today, Wednesday, March 10th. Again, the long anticipated Roblox. Still having trouble saying that. I want to say Roblox, but it's Roblox is the name of the company, IP or direct listing day. So of course, that's what we're going to be talking about. Making sure you have your chat window set up, as well as your Q&A window set up. Already some banter in the chat. RBLX, yes, is the ticker. Typo on my part for the long. I meant XPEV, that's XPing Motors. And then Clean Energy, RUN, short, only one out there is Tupperware. Cough is back a little bit, sorry. Missed earnings. And then Wall Street Bets, goodness, I saw part of your comment about GameStop on fire again this morning. Yes, so is AMC. And evidently there's chatter. If somebody has an extra screen and wants to go over to Wall Street Bets, see what the chatter is on RBLX. If they get involved, that could certainly be interesting if Roaring Kitty and his team of whoever they are decide to start buying this thing hand over fist today. It could be an interesting day, like a straight double. So we shall see. But that is what's going on in the chat this morning. If you have more stuff to add, that'd be great. Yes, stocks for the long run, Jeremy Siegel, highly recommended. I agree with you there. For those that read books, right? Yeah, people still do that, I hope. It doesn't seem like that happens a lot in our house, but it's certainly outside of myself. But certainly is a good book recommendation. And he's usually right, but he's usually pretty conservative too. I would consider him kind of, pretty old. Well, he is pretty old. That's a fact. But as far as his thinking seems to mirror more along the lines of the Warren Buffett deep value look than a Momo tech change the future. Dinner with Elon Musk and Jeremy Siegel would be interesting. I would be listening to Elon Musk like 99% of the time or 100% of the time in that situation. Okay, standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything that you hear today. So read full disclaimer information is at ototnow.com. So basic, old. 50 used to be old. I don't think it's that old anymore. But here, the disclaimer, no kidding. This is why we say this every day. Well, it's part legal, right? So I have to say that. But yeah, I love this. I've been waiting for this a while. Don't go out and, reverse mortgage your home or take out a HELOC to invest in the stock market. Don't pull out $5K on your credit card to go into this stock. That's bad money management. Don't do that stuff, right? Temper your expectations. If you have a 7-figure portfolio, you can put 25 or 50K at this thing. No big deal. That's your normal size. If you have a $1,000 portfolio out there, you've got your 4th figure, which I commend you, especially if you're on the younger side of things. Yeah, 250. I mean, 1/4 of your portfolio would be the max you would ever want to go into any individual stock. I hear you, Boomer. All right. Nice. Yeah, so you don't want to get crazy. You want some of this, and then I'll show you both Palantir and Asana, the charts today. Both of them had better entries than the direct listing. Now, you have to have a crystal ball to know exactly that's going to happen, and I don't really anticipate that happening this time. But hey, nobody anticipated with Palantir or Asana either, and it did. So part of that is 2 of them are releasing at the same time. Kind of dumb, right? It's like you guys can't spread out a day. Anyway, I digress. All right, mission objectives today: grow our money, protect our money, live off our money. This is all about growing our money. It is high risk. You're taking participation in a direct listing, which again, to recover, that is not an IPO. It is going public. So when you think of the 80s, IPOing, Goldman Sachs calling around everybody, people calling me, with a road show saying, Steve, how many thousands of dollars can you commit for Afterburner Financial? And I know getting signed a commit letter for $250,000 or $500,000 or whatever I want to put at from the book. Then I go out to my investors. That's a very detailed process. We verbally commit to stuff. Here, nobody's committed to anything other than RBLX will go public today. They have think of a big kind of stack of shares, and all of the orders are in at the release time. Whoosh, all those go out into the open market. And if there aren't enough orders, then the price stays at the opening price until all of that, the sales is all of the extra stock that's out there that's feeding into the market. Of course, there's going to be, that's all of the float, if you will. So the float kind of goes live. So that's why it trades a little bit differently than an IPO. All the shares are actually owned. So that way that IPO first tick sometimes is, 70% higher. Meaning you couldn't have gotten that at home on the secondary. You had to be in on the primary. Here, everything's on the secondary, so you can put your orders in right now. We'll talk about a limit order here in a second on how to get set up and how I will set up for it. $45 is the rumor. That can move during the day. I'm glancing over at my screen. I don't see they're on an ad right now, but that may move based on demand during the day. So my orders are set up as a limit order at 50 right now for everybody, just in case it moves a little bit higher. If they moved it to 51, that means nobody would get filled. So I have to stare at this thing literally all day so I don't miss it. Okay, flow today, long, short, open, short, long. We'll do a market review, headline review, futures are in the green. That's awesome. We'll talk about RBLX. There's nothing to look at on the chart yet because it's not trading. It's blank. PLTR and Asana are the 2 direct listings that I've talked about. Everything else is standard. Okay, let's go over. And after our big green day, we want to focus on the long term and not just the one stock out there. But here's our short term. We got this set up for the day trade. Just, lucking up 30 cents this morning. So I'm already happy about that. And of course, Apple, which, even during this dip, I bought some more Apple where I could, and again, still be do my own proper money management. But yeah, Apple going higher after a 4% move yesterday. So I like it. All right, let's take a look at the SPY. We had dropped out of our channel. If you would continue this channel, you would see that We're back in it. However, as you notice with the trend lines, when it feels sufficient, has enough sufficient data to be able to continue these trend lines, then you will see it'll redraw down here. It'll take a few more data points, but things are back on track, if you will. All right, as far as the short-term look, let's look at the Qs, which is the NASDAQ after that big correction, or excuse me, after the big move up, I should say, yesterday, and now almost 1% higher in the futures. You know, really, it was an amazing move up, sure, because it came all the way from down here. Remember, that's 4%, but here's where we were a week ago. So really, that's why I could continue higher. I mean, it's not even where it was, you know, literally last Wednesday. So, excuse me, more room to move higher. Okay, let's take a look at the headlines around the world. Back to CNBC.com. I'll show you these futures if you don't have them up already. Big green numbers are fun to look at. So, okay, NASDAQ up 1.4%. So again, these things are screaming higher today. All right, let's see. Europe was mixed last time I looked. It still is. It's pretty well in the green. That's just barely in the red there. Asia slightly mixed, not anything moving too crazy. Here's our numbers from yesterday. Again, the NASDAQ peaked out at around 4.2, I think was the highest I had seen on the move up for the NASDAQ. Of course, the Dow is on the rise as well. And then the VIX getting knocked down, of course. Okay, the 10-year holding tight around that 1.55 area. There certainly are headlines regarding that. We'll get to those in a second. Oil dropping below 65. Again, we want it to kind of reset to that 40 to 60 range. Gold and silver really not moving. Bitcoin continues powering higher, almost 56,000. So I do think it hits 100,000 this year. It may spike to get there. Don't know if it stays there. Don't know the end of the story, but I do think it is certainly on a path. Okay, $1.9 million. Amateur number. $1 trillion stimulus should be passed by the House today, probably by President Biden, signed into law, and then checks start flowing, right? Money starts flowing out. I dug into this some. You don't want to get into the politics of it, but hopefully this is our big last shot in the arm. And for all the people that are worried about inflation out there, if we kind of do this as our last one and done, fine. Okay, I think that's where most people stand on it. Is there pork in there? Sure there is. There's all kinds of crazy stuff in there. But whatever, get the money out to the people, and then we literally have to stop doing that, right? Everybody's raising their forecast here. As a UBS one I hadn't seen. Goldman Sachs is calling, you know, a teens level return for the year. I think that's going to happen too, except for what we don't know is tax. You know, it'll be later this year, but the tax increases that come up to pay for all this will certainly be interesting to see what they come up with. You know, reports are showing tame inflation. So when you hear all this inflation running up, realize that's a lot of people talking. And when a lot of people are talking, that doesn't really mean anything. You want the facts. Mortgage refinance dropping. Well, that, of course, would happen with the spike in interest rates that we saw. Jeffrey Gundlach, I'm not a fan. Obviously, he's a brilliant individual, but he's the bond king, right? So he's going to talk his stuff, which is bonds. And, of course, he's going to say everything he can about negative about financial markets, okay? So just because he says that, well, he always says that, right? Today is the perfect day to buy gold, says the guy on CNBC that sells gold, right? Okay, let's see what else. So what you're not seeing here is where is Roblox, right? They're not even, unless I scrolled right by it, they're not even on there. Yeah, Kiyosaki, buy gold and buy real estate and blah, blah, blah. If I remember right, he bounced out of bankruptcy once already. But Rich Dad Poor Dad authored, if you will. Interesting story if you want to get in. I've gone to one of his seminars. Oh, they're fancy. They are fancy. You know, stand up if you want to change your life. Since you're standing up, walk to the left of the room, get against the wall. We want to show you something. They're basically putting you in a line, and then they turn you like a right face, and then you go sign up for a $7,000 program, which albeit would work. However, you got to do the work behind it, right? It's not just the right. Most people don't. So, all right, here are two charts I want to show you. I want to show you PLTR, and I want to show you Asana. PLTR is, again, Palantir. And look at this opening. So if you are busy, like you have a job today and you are managing your own money and you don't get around to it, you literally had a month at the 10 and change process. This jumped up right here. I had a limit order in at 20, so double the opening price because I really wanted it. I'm not going to give it that much again. I opened here. I bought more when it jumped up to like 11. So I had like almost, that was probably me buying here, which looked stupid for several days. But then it didn't look stupid and doesn't look stupid now. So there's going to be an opportunity, I think. Unless this Wall Street Bets Reddit gets involved, then maybe this thing goes crazy. Asana is certainly a different story. Look at this, opens up at 25, which was here. It jumped up, right? So it had all the hype and then sold off for basically 2 months. So, you know, take a breath. Don't get too excited. Just smart deployment of capital into the markets and you'll be fine today. Again, 45 is the opening price. Put a limit order in at 50 and we'll talk about more about that once we get through the open. Okay, back to our screens here. There's Luckin holding at 633. I like it. I wouldn't take the short today. I would look at the longs, which have scrolled off of the chat. So let me find them real quick. Have about 30 seconds to the open. All right, CLNE will be the primary long. And then the secondary long will be XPEV. All right, 30 seconds to the open and we will get set up here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time On Target play of the day. You have 4 screens in front of you and 15 seconds to the market open. Here's our future screaming higher, so I would not take anything short right now. We have clean energy on a big contract for ag facilities for hydrogen and clean energy. There's your opening bell. And the next PVE is a continuation from a huge jump it had yesterday. So I'm more excited for CLNE than I am XPEV. And on the right, we have Roblox, right? In case Roblox, thank you, Roblox. In case it opens, I should at least be able to say the name if I'm going to put a bunch of money into this stock, which is not opening. Again, expecting it to open around noon Eastern today, but we don't exactly know when. And they do keep it a secret on us. Okay, so not much going on here in clean energy, kind of fading a little bit. It's in the heart of the window. It's got plenty of volume going in it. XPEV is really not making much of a move here at all. So I do want to take a look at Run, which is Sunrun. Well, daggone it. It opened here at 61 here. So it's moving all over the place. Almost 500,000 shares in that first minute here. Again, Sunrun is an upgrade, if you will. So it's tough to buy in now after you see this move from 58 up to 61. That's pretty significant. Looked like clean energy was stopped out there for a second, but it appears to be back live. So we'll keep clean energy there. I'm not super excited about that entry. We'll take a look at some other names. Let's see if Luckin's getting some love. Could this be? It was up at 633 earlier. Now it's down to 610. So it's only up 7 cents. Not all that exciting. Apple continuing to power higher. That works. Amazon, yeah, percent higher. Big percent though when you're up at $3,000 a share. Let's look at our short, which is Tupperware. Don't really want to short into this market, but this would have worked. This is easily a 3-hour move. So at 28, you would open down here. So at 27, it'd be 30 cents above the high of the day. So 25, so 27.20. That would have been a pretty tough entry. You would not have been able to enter it here really at the first minute, but after it comes all the way here, here would be your entry. And then 30 cents, so that's 26.30. Yeah, marched right down to a 3-hour type trade. I would not hop it into it here, 17% down. And I'm not sure I would have had the gall to be able to hop into it after this, dollar move the minute prior to the open. But certainly if you took, some people nibble on this strategy pre-market, take a third of your shares pre-market and then go from there. But we shall see. All right, clean energy is starting to go higher here. If you mark the day at 12, low of the day, it's a 15-cent stop. So really, you're not going to be able to cover all the way down to the low. So I don't intend on trading it today. All right, so Roblox not alive. Let's go check out and see what's going on around the world here. All right, so no trade today for me. NEO 0.9% here. You have Clickstream on the way up. Fubo TV, REAX. We haven't looked at that in a little while. It's again kind of a tiny bit player. Entry point was around 2. And jumping back up kind of around the entry point there. I don't hold it personally, but it is in the book. Tesla, we talked about, had a almost 20% move up yesterday. So all I had to do was shame it a little bit in the room and watch it go from, let's see, when was I talking? Here, 600. Now it's at 715. So take the opposite of whatever I'm saying in Tesla, obviously. BNTX, BioNTech, MongoDB, Palantir up nicely. People are probably talking about Palantir today just because of the direct listing, so it's getting a lot of love. And also it went into a contract with somebody. I'm going to go on another screen. And this should help boost the stock significantly. Looking for a headline. And of course, I don't see it. They entered a contract with somebody, and I can't remember who, but big name. CRISPR Therapeutics, DraftKings. DraftKings has been on fire as well. QClean, we always talk about, and Grid as well. So a lot of names on the move up. I did buy some marijuana the other day. Not marijuana. I bought some marijuana ETF the other day. So it's up 3%. Not a bad entry point here. I think it was Delaware maybe listed, the one state listed yesterday that they're going to legalize. I think we're at 17 states now. So really, you know, marijuana, the ETF spiked back here up to 35. So even though you're off the lows here, I still think it's a good long-term theme, if you will. Okay, let's see what's on the downside. Hardly anything, right? So there's what, 12 names there, maybe 15. Gold. I haven't really seen Bitcoin today, so let's take a look at where Bitcoin is. GBTC. So off of the low down here below 40. So if you caught this bounce again, you're looking at what, a 20% move up here in the recovery from 40 to 51. I've kind of drawn the line at 50. Don't buy it above that. So at this point, I think you have to admit just, okay, fine, ship has sailed. If it comes back below 50, you can look at adding. Otherwise, just take the ride. All right, let's go back to Investopedia and take a look at this limit order differences. Okay, so here's my recommendation. Here's what I'm set up for right now is a limit order at 50. So with, to get to the right screen. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. So for your ticker entry, RBLX is already recognized. Sometimes it's not. So you type it in there just like it listed right now and say limit order buy 50. So if you were going to buy one share, you had $50, you could put limit order $1, $50. And when the thing opens, at the opening, it's going to give you the opening price of 45, if that's indeed where it opens. If, however, it opens higher than that, it'll give it to you all the way up to 50. If it opens above 50 for whatever reason, and then you would never get filled. So I think that's still the better way to do this. If you're an I believe type person, you can put a market order in here, but then you get filled at any price, right? So you know you're going to end up with the shares. You just have to make sure that your money's there. So what are the downsides of that order? Well, with Palantir, I put a limit order up at 20. So what that cost me is all the shares when it opened, and again, it was listed at 10. So all of the shares, even though my order was up here, all of the shares filled at 10. But the amount of capital that I had to say I was going to buy 10,000 shares of this, well, when you put the order in at 20 or above, you know, what you're getting filled at, you could only put an order in for what, 500 shares. So when it filled, you only had $5,000 committed versus the full 10. Okay, so that's the difference. Today, by me using 50, I can pretty much fill what's at 95% of the order if it fills right at the price and it gives a little bit of wiggle room. I will have to do a lot of typing if it all of a sudden, you know, a minute before it opens, they say, oh, haha, we're opening at 55. Then it's like, oh, crap. Then I have guessed wrong, if you will. And I have to go through and I have to redo all those orders very quickly. So you could set your price higher to be able to avoid that, say you're at work or something, or, you know, can't stare at the screen all day, you could put in up to 60. I wouldn't put it up above that, but I do think it fills right at 45, and we shall see how much volume there is. If the Wall Street bets, I'm actually going to pull that up on Reddit today. First time ever. I've never actually been to that site. You know, I just generally get the Twitter volume from it is what I see. But yeah, I'm pulled up and have it up on the screen and see what everybody's saying. So, all right, with that, good luck today. Should be a big day for us. I'm very excited about this. We've been waiting for this for a while, so we're going to put some capital in. But as a reminder, you saw with the Asana and Palantir, it was about a month before it took off, 2 months for Asana. So, all right, with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. Happy trading, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.